This is Gospel Music Today. We're at the National Quartet Convention, and we are talking to one of the great family groups in Southern gospel music, the Browders. And sitting next to me is Matthew Browder. And Matthew, welcome to Gospel Music Today.
Thank you for having us, Ken. We're really excited about being with y'all and being at National Quartet Convention this evening.
This is a wonderful event, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. About everybody you can think of in gospel music that is still alive and going and everything, you can meet them out here at National Quartet Convention.
That's right. I'm going to have you introduce these other two people.
Over here to my left is my beautiful wife, Sonia, and over here to my far left is my brother, David Browder.
Now, you didn't describe his beautiful appearance, though.
He's a pretty sharp cat.
Okay. Now, tell me a little bit about the Browders as a group.
Well, we started back in 1990. We had our first top 80 hit on Singing News charts in 98 called Put It in God's Hands. And then we had several after that. And then our first top 20 song went to number 18, was Mom and Dad Raised Me Right. And of course, the past few years, God has just really enlarged our borders and expanded, our territory. God has really been blessing. And we had our first top 10 last year called Stand Up for Jesus. And we're really excited about that song and the songs that are to come. And a few hits after that, and our latest single has already made the charts. It's at number 68 that my daddy wrote called Waiting on My Change.
Now, within the group, there's a lot of writing?
Yes. Yeah, my dad, actually, he started writing, well, he wrote his first song when he was 8 years old. And he wrote several songs in the 80s, different groups recorded. McCain has recorded one, the Singing Cooks has recorded several of his songs. And my wife writes, she's a great writer. And my brother, he's come along really strong in his writing, and I write myself.
Ask these guys a couple of things. Now, obviously, coming from a singing family, I probably already know the answer, but how did you become involved in Southern gospel singing?
Well, I really just grew up in it. Me and my brother, as kids, we used to listen to them old records of Dad and Moms of the Happy Goodman family and the Hensons and Teddy Huffman, the Jims and the Cathedrals and just I could go on, and we cut our teeth listen to those old records. So and we've always been involved in church. Mom and Dad took us to church ever since we was just babies, and so we've always been involved in gospel music.
Now, I have to tell you that we've probably known Sonia longer than you have from our days in New England. Sonia's an old friend of ours. Who were your influences in gospel singing?
My very first experience in gospel music was from the Cathedral Quartet. I actually, before Ernie Haas was ever with the Cathedrals, he traveled some doing solo work, and of course, being from Ohio, he actually came up to Maine, where I was from, a couple of times. He was with a traveling evangelist. He would sing, and a man named Andy House would preach. And he was at my church several times. And then our church invited him back for a youth camp that we did every year. And so, of course, I was just a little girl. I was about 7 or 8, and the little girls all thought Ernie was just wonderful, And so we loved his music and loved what he did, and he found out that I sang, and 1 year at the Bible camp, he let me sing a song with him. So, of course, that was really neat for me, never having any idea what Ernie would become. And the next year he joined the Cathedrals, and they came to Bangor, Maine, and he called us and said, I want you to come. I've got tickets. We'll get you in early. We'll get you good seats. And that was my very first Southern gospel concert. And I remember listening to them and leaving that concert. I don't know if it would really be a prayer, but my thought was, man, if I could just do something like that with my life. I was just in awe of it. and it was an amazing first experience. And we went and heard the Cathedrals every year they came back, and we were huge fans, and never dreaming, being from Maine and not being in a singing family, that I would ever be able to do what God had planned for me, but that I had no idea about.
That's a great story. What's been going on with recording for the Browders?
Well, we're actually getting ready to work on a couple of new recordings. A lot of our friends and the fans, people that love our music, we've had a great demand on our live picking. They love my dad's finger picking on the acoustic guitar and Sonia's piano playing. They're basically the two main lead instruments that we have live. And of course I play the rhythm and David plays the bass guitar. So we're getting ready to cut a project and give them what they want. They've been wanting it for a while, and we're going to do a project like that. And we've already got one song almost finished for our next big project called Poor Boy to a King's Kid. And it's a story song. I believe it's going to really touch a lot of hearts. It's about a little boy that don't have much, and he gives his heart to God, and he becomes rich. And it's just a great song, great message.
I'm so glad that you mentioned the live instrumentals. I mean, that was on my list of things, and I forgot all about it, because that's a big difference between the Browders and a lot of the other groups. That's great. You guys grew up playing and singing.
Right. Yeah, I started out actually when we started, when Dad started the group, I started playing the drums, and we'd load them in that Dodge Omni car and head down the road. Didn't have a whole lot of room, and that's what I started playing. And when I started learning the baritone part, I kind of wanted something for a security blanket, I guess, on stage, and Dad started teaching me how to play the rhythm guitar. And so I'd get up there and play along with the track, and really, it was a big thing for me, man. Them guitars hit them licks, man, it was like I was doing it too, even though I wasn't. And so that's kind of the way that it started with our live playing. And then a while back, we decided to do more live.
That's great. The Browder family website?
Yes, it's thebrowders.com. TheBrowders, thebrowders.com.
Well, Matthew and all the Browders, thank you very much for talking to us on Gospel Music today.
Thank you, Ken. We appreciate you having us.
You're very welcome.
God bless you, buddy.
Now back to more Gospel Music Today.